Okay. So a quick recap of last week, we were doing computer software and we had looked at so many things. We looked at operating systems, we looked at utility programs and so many other types of things. And we said utility programs are those that are designed to configure and analyze your computer so that they optimize your computer so that it works well. It's the same way, like if you're a human being, you need to occasionally go for a medical checkup and maybe take vitamins. So really, utilities basically allow us to perform the same kind of functionality on a computer system. Okay, they basically help your computer work normally at all times. So if I am a bit very low, you need to inform me, okay, so that I can maybe be a little more audible for some people. But if it is okay, then maybe we can type in the chat right, with 1 so that we can continue. All right. So I am going to share my screen so that we pick up from what we left, where we left off last week. Maybe before I do that, are there any questions so far based on the lesson we had last week and maybe what you have read or what you've heard? Okay, maybe you want to ask a question, I'll be able to respond in relation to either software or hardware or anything in computer. Okay, just need to raise your question, then I'll be able to respond. Yes, Daphne.
Teacher, sorry to take you very, very far, but I wanted to inquire. So you see, last time when you started the learning computer, you said that there are these notes that we are going to print. The ones for, I don't remember the topics, but you said that they are for printing, and we shall like go through them, like they're in the syllabus coverage. So I was wondering if you could send them so that we print them before school review.
Okay. So because this topic is a bit wide, software. So I want to upload the notes for hardware afresh because I remember we had started hardware, but we'll just share those specific slides as well. Okay, so that you actually have them up front. And then
not hardware.
Which ones?
The ones that are for, I remember, like, was it word processing? It had like the things that they ask about. Okay, it was specifically a point and it explains what it is, something
I
like
remember.
that.
Yes, I remember. I thought those things were already in the Google Class. We had posted them. Let me just confirm. Okay, I'm going to upload them during this lesson. Okay, I've just noticed they're not there. I see. Computer software notes, computer. Okay, I don't see it there, so I'm going to upload them. Okay, as we have this lesson.
Okay. So we print the.
Yes, you need to print them so that they can bind them. So I am going to send for all of them. So for Microsoft Word, for PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel, so that you just bind them. So that allows everyone to have all the practical notes. Okay, so that when we go, as we're going through the concepts, we already have seen them before, and we're able to like carry on very well.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. So let me share my screen so that we start from here. Okay. Can we just confirm that we can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So in the last lesson, we had stopped at utility programs, and I've just given a quick overview of what they are. Their purpose is basically to optimize and maintain, analyze your computer so that they keep it in a very good working state. Okay, and they basically do like what we call housekeeping. Examples of utility programs, we listed them. They're here. The text is a bit small, but I hope we can see. Okay. And I think today we are supposed to begin from here.
Teacher, you're muted.
Oh yes, sorry. I think I am muted. I muted myself accidentally. Okay. Okay. Now today we are beginning with the programming languages. And last week I told you guys a brief about a programming language. It's basically a computer software which is used to build another software. Okay, and if you have siblings that have done computer science, IT, computer engineering, these are things they've done. They do every other time. Okay, so for you to be able to use the Zoom app you're having on your phone, it was built by another programming language. Okay, so it's language is basically a software which can be used to build and design another computer program or a mobile phone app. Okay, and I remember telling that programming languages have a set of keywords that they understand. Okay, and if you misspell a word, for example, then the programming language will get confused and it will not know what to do. So the special keyword they use is basically called a syntax. Okay, and it's basically a spelling of certain keywords they use. Okay, for example, when we begin learning about Microsoft Excel, we shall learn about something called addition. Now, the addition word, if we use it in algebra and math, we say sum. So you get the sum of two items. Now, sum must always be spelled as S-U-M. So assuming you spelled it as S-U-M-M, now that becomes an error in the syntax. So syntax is generally the correct way of spelling particular keywords used in the programming language. Okay, so that's where we had stopped last time. Now, if you recall, when we introduced computer software, we said computer software is divided into or categorized into system software, and then we have what we call application software. Some people call it productivity software. And when we look at application software, we're looking at the kind of a software which allows an end user. So the end user is the person who is using, the final person who uses the software. Okay, so it's that one which allows you to accomplish one or more specific tasks. For example, the people who built Mozilla, okay, required that the end user, the person who will use it, can only use it for accessing web pages. Okay, so you can't have an MP3 file and then you say, let me listen to my music using Mozilla. So it can't do that task. So another software is built for that specific task. So what we need to pick from this is application softwares allow a user or a computer user to accomplish one or more specific tasks. Okay. So when we look at all application software, they include all business software, automation software, the games, okay, telecom software, database, all these softwares that are used in different fields. It could be in medical, in military, education. They are all called application softwares. They are basically built to allow people in those specific sectors to do certain tasks. Okay, entertainment software, people who play music, the DJs, they also have their own special software. It is designed for that particular purpose. Okay, I hope that gives us a good overview of what applications are. Okay. So in the last lesson, when we introduced this, when we had a quick overview, I asked some of us to go online and try to check through some of these things and get to understand how they work. Okay. In entertainment, These are examples, okay, of application softwares. We have those for games, for example, solitaire on your computer. When I was growing up, there used to be a game on a computer called, I think it was called something ball, I think pinball or something. I don't remember. Then we have application for media, like VLC, whatever, all those things allow you to basically achieve entertainment. Okay, whenever you put a DVD on your computer, you can listen to it or watch a movie. Where we have a category under business. These ones are used like for banks, people who do finance and things like that, accountants. And there are, of course, supermarkets. They basically do all the things: customer relationship management. People who do warehouse management, they use business software because they need to be able to keep stock of what is in the store, what has been bought, and all that. All those are business software category. We have those for photo management. When you go to a photo studio, you take your picture, they can edit your picture, they can print it, okay, like Adobe Photoshop. The people who make billboards, all the applications fall under photo management. We have collaboration category, for example, instant messengers, email, okay, all those are in those categories. And then there are so many other categories. I'm very sure some of you have read through them. This is a picture for some popular apps people use on their computers. They do different tasks. Then, so I left off, I think, after explaining this, that application software can be further categorized as follows. We have general purpose application softwares. Then we have specialized application software. We have integrated application softwares. Then we have that one which is customized. And then we have the one which is custom written. Okay. So when we say custom written, for example, when the government wanted national ID registration, they had to write that software for that purpose only. Okay, so that one, it is requested by whoever wants it. So someone who wants some software to do a certain task will contact companies that build software and explain what they need, and then that company will build for them a custom written software package. Okay. So we look at the first category. Okay, so after saying they are categorized into general purpose, specialized, integrated, and so forth, we'll look at the general purpose application softwares. Now, so when you look at this, it's the kind that is not basically designed for a specific business or organization, but it can be adapted to suit a wide selection of users. Okay, for example, when they built Microsoft Office, a program which has Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, they didn't really build it for one specific organization. Okay, so it was written by Microsoft so that it can be adapted and used by so many users, irrespective. So people who are even in banks can type it later. In schools, students can type documents. Just generally, anyone can use Microsoft Word for doing their work. So that's why you say it's a general purpose kind of software. Okay, so when you asked what general purpose software is, you probably need to say that it's the kind of software that is not written for one specific business organization, but it can be used and adapted, okay, to suit a wide selection of users. Okay, specific needs. Also, usually I always recommend that we check through the internet and find alternative perspective to this, how other people really approach the response. Okay, it's also very good for us to check. Then we look at the second category, which is specialized software. So when you look at the specialized software, it's written for a specific task rather than like so many application areas. Okay. For example, when you look at people who in HR, human resource, okay, I know some of your parents could be human resource managers. Now, for them, they write for them a program which is specialized for only managing employee data. Okay. Now, you can't find that software everywhere. You go to the street and buy and install on a computer because you don't have employees' information to manage. So when you talk about specialized software, there are companies which build such software and then they sell it they sell it. So organizations, companies buy it and they buy it for basically one person who is the human resource manager and maybe their assistant. Okay. So while Microsoft Word is general, anyone can buy it. So this one it is only specialized to be used in one application area, managing employees, for example, for the payroll program. When you look at the accounting program, okay, Stanbic, DFCU, they're companies that have already built software which can work in banks. So if you want to run a bank, you need to identify which company makes a banking software, okay, in the world. Then they'll sell you the software, okay. So it is that's why you call it. It is specialized for one specific reason, but it's only sold to few people, okay, who actually will use it. Airline booking software, okay, it's also specialized. It does that, okay. So that's how we differentiate some of these categories. So specialized is written for a specific task, okay, and for application in a given area, okay, while the general purpose is basically designed to be used in several. It's not designed for like one specific organization, but it can be used by so many other people. So that's how it's a common question in your exams. They will always ask you most cases to distinguish between specialized and general purpose. Okay, so I hope we are able to differentiate between those two. Other examples of specialized software include expert systems. Okay, expert systems are those kind of systems that can make decisions. Okay, for example, I think these days the expert systems that can do predictions. There are people who do predictions in sports, for example. They can prediction in weather. All those are expert systems. Then we have what we call integrated software. Okay. In case you have a question along the way, you need to ask. You can either type in the chat or raise your hand, then you can pick you. Okay. You can take your question. So when you look at integrated, integrated comes from the word to integrate. Okay. You heard of the East African integration. Okay. So when you look at integrated software, it's a software package in a single application, which combines most commonly used functions and commands and interface of many productivity software programs. Now, those are so many words, okay? And so generally what we look at is when you install Microsoft Office into your computer, for example, okay? It comes with so many other applications in it. So Microsoft Word will be there, PowerPoint will be there. It's also, of course, called a software suite. We shall see it somewhere. Okay, but when you look at something that is integrated, it has the commands and the interface of many productivity applications. Most word processors have the ability to do what we call mailing. You can even create a web page using Microsoft Word. You can create a chart. Now, much as you can create a chart in another application, for example, Excel, but also
badde mbayita temuwulira bantu mmwe.
Ategeka, can you mute your microphone? Yes, Paula. Paula, your hand is...
Can you hear me?
Yes, Paula.
So I had a question about the different categories.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you can go back so that I can phrase the question properly, like the different categories of, I think it was like software.
You're saying here?
No, go back again, like there, right there. No, one slide ahead. Ahead. Yeah, there's perfect. Ah, right, the one right before this one, sir. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
This one?
I don't. It was right after the one with like the pictures and the icons.
Okay, these are the pictures. Then this is the
Then
first
one behind.
Okay.
Yes, there. Yes, so I was asking, you see how there are different categories, and under each you give like an example, like for the photo management, you give Photoshop and all these different things. My question was for like, what does the application Netflix fall under? Is it like entertainment, or is it like, yeah, that's.
Could you say again? I didn't get that last part.
My question was, what does the application Netflix, like, what does Netflix for? And like, is it entertainment? Because like none of like the entertainment apps that are there, like, are sort of like Netflix. So I'm wondering.
Yes. Now, so all those are best. So, for example, those are entertainment applications. Okay. Much as so they are built. Yes, it's still an entertainment application. They basically help you to stream movies off a server. Okay, but it's just those are entertainment applications. There are so many of them, of course. There's Disney Plus, there's Prime Video, there's Hulu. All of them provide the same service.
VLC.
Yes. Now VLC also, of course, that is now a local. That one you install it on your computer. But now all these are online entertainment applications, while this other one is offline. So the other ones require you to have internet connection. Okay, but it falls under entertainment.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Right. We have two more hands. Rosemary.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
So what do we mean when we say server? What is a server?
A server is a computer on the internet that is used to store like stuff. Could be movies, could be files, and so many other different things people can store there, emails. And then, so what they do is when someone wants something, when you want to watch a movie, for example, okay, your phone will send a request to the server, and then the server will serve you with that particular request. It's like when you go to a restaurant, and then there are those attendants, their work is to serve. So whenever you make a request for something, they serve you. So that's what a server does. So it's a computer on a network that provides services to clients who request for them. Okay, Rosemary, does that answer your question?
Yes, teacher, thank you.
Okay, I have another hand, Shona.
Yes, teacher, just adding on to understand the server. Is it like how you'd go maybe to a like a social media platform, like maybe Discord, and you know they say like search for a server or a channel like that. So is it like the same as the server we are talking about here?
Yes. Now, so companies, very large companies like Facebook, Twitter, those people actually set up multiple servers in different regions. Okay. So Facebook has a data center in California. They have another data center, I think, in Mexico. they want to build a data center in South Africa. Now, all those places will have servers. Now, the purpose of the reason as to why they put so many servers across the world is for an eventuality. Okay, if someday something bad happens, maybe an asteroid falls from the sky and actually falls on the data center in California. Okay, the system will stay running because the system will automatically switch over to the next one. So it ensures that the system continues to run even after one has been destroyed. So basically the servers work hand in hand. It's like in a restaurant, if one of the waiters maybe decides to fall as they were doing the work and they break their leg, the other people, okay, take over and they continue working. Okay, it doesn't affect the what? It will not affect the service. So that's how the servers also work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. So we're looking at different categories. We've said under application software, we have general purpose, we have special purpose, specialized software, and then we have integrated. Okay, so when you look at integrated, you have like one application, but it also has support for other functions and commands that are used in other programs also. And the most common example is Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint. Okay, so you can create shape. Okay, sorry, I think I lost connection a bit there. Okay, so I need to share my screen again. So we've explained what integrated software is. Then we look at what we call a software suite. Okay, so when you look at a software suite, we are looking at like a collection of so many applications that are supplied as one package. Okay, so you buy it once, but it has so many other packages so many other programs that come with it. The best example is Microsoft Office Suite. It's actually called Microsoft Office Suite. Then we have another good example is what we call Adobe Suite. Okay, they call it Adobe Productivity Suite. Now, all those things, if I may just share let me share another tab. Okay, Adobe. Let me just open it on my computer here. Okay, let me wait for it to open, and then we can see that Adobe. All right, so let me just look for a page which has all those features so that we can actually have an idea. So let me share my screen again. Okay, so you can, when you look at my screen, let me just compare this so that we actually see. Okay, so when you look at Adobe, for example, it says all apps. Okay, so if I go to, you see when I go to, if I buy Adobe, it comes with Photoshop. Can someone confirm they can see this?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes, so usually people who buy Adobe,
Yes.
Adobe comes with how many programs are this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 42 minus 1. So there are 41 programs. So you buy it once, but it's called a suite because it's a collection of so many creative desktop and mobile apps. So that's what a suite is. You buy once, They give you all the programs that come on that DVD, and it's a DVD, one big DVD, and you use all of them. So that's what a suite is. Just like Microsoft Word comes with, Microsoft Office comes with Word, PowerPoint, Excel, database, and so many others. That's how they all work. Okay, just one moment. Okay, so we continue with this. So I've explained what a software suite is. Okay, it's one package, but when you buy it, they give you all other programs and that are in that package.
It's a Friday.
So usually business applications come in suites. For example, Microsoft Office. Okay, so my screen has disappeared. I lost internet connection. So I was saying, business applications come in suites. The best example is Microsoft Office, and I've already told you that it comes with so many other programs. Now, people who use Linux is another type of operating system. If you've ever heard of Ubuntu, okay, so it also comes with its own version of Office suite, okay, and then people who use MacBooks, iOS, Mac OS, also their Office suite comes with all those other applications. So they're basically bundled together so that you can be able to use Word, Excel, and PowerPoint in the same program without having to buy a new software. Yes, Glenna?
Teacher, I wanted to ask about this Ubuntu and all that. There's a laptop that I saw that is Lenovo, but then it has Ubuntu, it has Windows 10, it like has all those like in one laptop, so you can just change whenever you want. So I wanted to ask if Windows can also do that same thing. Like, let me say their laptops, do they also do that, or these ones only can have one at a time?
Okay, thank you. So what you witnessed on that computer is what we call it is called a dual boot. Okay, DUAL. Okay, as in, so you can install both Windows and Ubuntu on your computer. Okay, it's possible. However, it has to be done by someone who knows how to do these things. Okay, but most likely that person does programming. That's why they have both. Most people who do programming prefer to use Ubuntu, and because it is stable, it's not affected by viruses and so forth. You don't want to be building software and then the virus comes and eats all your work. So Mac OS, MacBooks, and Ubuntu computers that have installed Ubuntu, they are not affected by viruses. Viruses only disturb Windows 10, Windows 7, and all the Windows computers.
Teacher, what does Ubuntu have that it doesn't get affected by the viruses? Does it have something special?
Yes, so the kind of software they use is built differently, okay? Viruses have, if you remember in the other lesson we had last time when we talked about file management, we talked about file extensions. Now, so the way you install, the way programs execute in Windows is completely different. So it's very easy to trigger what? It's very easy to trigger a virus, okay, compared to Linux. And even the viruses are built to have that extension, the same extension, that last part of the file name, where there's .doc, .pdf, .exe. So all viruses, most of them have .exe at the end. So every time, like, your computer can run those commands in the background when you don't even know, and it activates the viruses. So it's you're more likely to get a virus on a Windows computer compared to someone who is using Linux or Mac OS. Komugisha is asking, so does it mean new Windows can be affected by viruses? Now, these companies every single time make new updates on the software. So they're always trying to improve. Okay, so every single time they're trying to improve on the safety of their operating systems. So eventually, maybe someday they will have a breakthrough. They will make a Windows version which also does not get affected by viruses, and then the entire computing world will not have viruses anymore. Okay, so we continue. Now, so after looking at these categories, general purpose, specialized software, then we have integrated, and then the software suites. We already said integrated software is the kind that is it's like a single application, but combines the most commonly used functions and commands that are found in other productivity applications. So what are some of the advantages? For example, what is the advantage of using Microsoft Word, okay, or PowerPoint? Okay, so when you look at that, it's very easy to transfer your data from one application to another. For example, if you had created a table in Microsoft Excel, and then you created a chart, you can basically copy your chart and paste it into Microsoft Word. Okay, so you can transfer information between the two applications. We also see that integrated software takes up less space than individual packages. So assuming you had to buy Microsoft Word alone, then you buy Excel alone, PowerPoint. Some of us have used PowerPoint before. And then if you had to buy each of those programs alone, then you install them, it means each of those programs will have to take up a lot of space. So if you install 10 programs, you'd have used a lot more space than someone who has an integrated software, because you install it once, and then those programs are able to share a lot of things about themselves. For example, the same icons that are found in Microsoft Word, if you go to Microsoft PowerPoint, if you want to insert, for example, clip art, the images, you'll find the same images that are found in PowerPoint are the same images found in Microsoft Word. Okay, even if you find charts, the same kind of chart you find in Excel will be the same chart found in PowerPoint and Word. So by saying they take up less space, it means they're sharing some of the components. And then also you can move much faster from one application to the next. Okay. For example, no one here has used none of you has used probably a program called Illustrator and Photoshop. So people who do billboards and who do banners in town, they use those. They can move from PowerPoint from Photoshop. They take the image to Adobe Illustrator, and then they put a text. Okay, so it's easier for them to transfer files from one program to another. Okay, switch between the applications. And then it's very easy to learn, usually because the interface is the same. Okay, I don't think I have Photoshop installed on my computer. Okay, I don't have Photoshop, but we shall use the best example, Microsoft Word. Okay, so if I open my Microsoft Word on this computer, okay, So I am going to share the entire screen for now. So if I open Microsoft Word on this computer, and then I open PowerPoint, for example, you'll realize they have the same interface. Okay. I hope we can see that. Someone can respond and they can see the Microsoft Word starting.
We can see it.
Yes.
Then I'm also going to open. So let me also open PowerPoint, for example. You see how they started. They start the same way, but we are more interested in the interface. Okay. Oh, all right. So you observe that the first menu here is called File, followed by Home, Insert. We have Design, we have View. But if I go to Microsoft Word, okay, maybe I should just do this. So you see that there's File, even the icon up here for saving is the same icon here. We have Insert, we have Design, there's Design. We have View, and there's also View here. There's Review, there's also Review. And if I move this down a little, okay, you see there's something here called Paragraph here, and then there's also Paragraph. There's Font, and there's Font. There's Clipboard here. There's also Clipboard this side. So when you talk about these programs having a similar design, if I go to Insert, for example, as an example also, we need to see, if I go to Shapes, okay, you see the shapes appearing here. They are the same shapes appearing this side, okay? So that's one reason as to why we say that these ones take up little space compared to standalone applications. And it's very easy for you to move from one application to the other. Okay, so I'll just present again. Okay, so a software suite is more versatile than individual applications. So you can get something from PowerPoint, bring to Microsoft Word, and then even begin making changes to it. Okay, it's less likely to crash and contains fewer errors because it's been like they test it so much, so they are usually very stable. They are cheaper to buy compared to buying one program at a time. For example, if you had to buy, let me check the cost of, okay. Now you see, when you look at this picture, if you're buying maybe photography alone, one application, for example, Photoshop alone can be $9. But we saw that there are how many programs? There are 41 programs. So assuming you had to buy each of those programs one at a time, and each of them is $9. What is 9 times 41? Okay. Where are the math students? It comes to
369.
Yeah, 369.
369.
So now they make it very cheap for you. So for all the apps, so you can buy all your apps per month at $40. So they make it so it's very cheap for you to buy a suite compared to one program at a time. You've seen how much Photoshop costs. It's $20. This one is also 20. This is also 20. Actually, this is even more expensive. So it's very expensive to buy one program. So someone who buys all the programs at once per month saves a lot of money. Okay, so that I think that is explained for us very well now. We've actually seen a live example there.
Excuse me, sir, I have a question.
Yes.
So my question was, how come like after each time, like after like companies release, like let's say if it's a game and it's a game series, like first they'll have you pay for this one, but as they go on releasing more, they either like make this one free or they reduce the price. But then like sometimes it can be like a 1 day offer and you can get like the game free. And then after you download it and you don't have to like pay for like memberships and stuff like that, like everything is free and you can use it for like without having to pay. Like, is that like what happens? Like how come you don't have to pay for anything inside the app? Like confusing.
All right. Now, people who make games usually do what they call, so when, for example, when they were going to release a PS5, so people bought when you, for example, paid for PS5, there are some games that come with it. But then sometimes when like when they are going to release a new game, so there are some features that will be in the game that are free, but there are some other features in the game that will be locked. Okay, so when they tell you that, or they give you a Black Friday offer, and then people can maybe pay a small fee, okay, a small fee for that game. So if the game is probably maybe $30, and then they do an offer of, let's say, $13. Now the trick is basically they're trying to raise as much revenue as possible. So usually people want to buy things when they are cheap, but because they're not actually meeting any extra cost by selling, because they're basically activating the same game for so many people. So companies will look at an opportunity to make maybe $5 billion. So they say, so when they look at the number of people who have bought the PS5, let's say they have sold 500,000 PS5 stations, they are able to monitor how many of those people are connected to the internet. Now, if a game they have released is going to be $50, they can look at it and be like, okay, so these people might not buy this game. So instead of selling the game to 50,000 people, we reduce the price and sell to 400,000 people. So they make more money by selling it at $13 to 400,000 people and selling it to 100,000 people at maybe $40 or so. So it's just a trick. It's a mind game.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay, so quickly, disadvantages. Obviously, not every single feature in another application are included. So they can't bring, for example, PowerPoint has presenting, it has what, transitions and animations. So not all the features of a single application are included. Okay, so if you want to animate things, then you can't use Microsoft Word. So you can first type your things in Microsoft Word, but then if you want to animate them and put transitions, then you need to maybe transfer the things to PowerPoint. That's why we say not all the features of a single application are included. Okay, there are some which are meant to stay in those respective apps. Someone is asking, why doesn't my Microsoft Word application work? If your Microsoft Word application is showing a red message on top, it's most likely that the license has expired. Okay, the Microsoft Word you have is expired. I'm very sure even your PowerPoint is not working. Okay, that question was asked by Angel 2H. Okay, so that's yes.
So should you update then, or you get a new one?
Yes, you need to probably get someone, maybe your sibling, your brother, sister, to try to update for you, because you need to like download a newer version of Microsoft Word, and so you need someone who is more technical to download it for you. Okay, maybe as we draw towards the end of the lesson, we also need to be able to categorize software according to acquisition. Okay, now this is still under application software. Okay, And also, I think even some of the system software is categorized according to this. So when you look at categorization of software, we look at all software, whether it's system software or application software. And we can categorize them according to how they are acquired or purchased. We have the category of software we call off the shelf. It's also sometimes called standard software. Now, this kind of software is normally copyrighted, but it is sold in the market, okay, for commercial reasons. So the company that makes it owns the software, but they sell it to you people to use, okay? Sometimes the way they work is they sell it to you, you use it for 1 year, and then you have to pay for it again, okay? Even if you go to the market to buy it, it's like antivirus, okay? I'm very
So
sure.
is it like the same thing with the Windows, like when they ask you to renew your Windows license?
Yes, so now usually the Windows license is supposed to be permanent, but if you upgrade your Windows sometimes, then they will require you to purchase a license for the new upgrade. For example, if your computer is running Windows 10, and then you wanted to upgrade to Windows 11, okay? I think depending on the version of Windows 10 you are using, they may ask you to pay a license fee for the new Windows 11 that you have upgraded to. So any software that you go to town, if you went to Kampala Road and then you bought software from the Indian shop, okay, so that kind of software is copyrighted and it is commercial. So that the person who makes it, they releases it to the market for sale or lease, okay, like they hire it to you for 1 year. Then after that, the program will deactivate, then you need to buy another license. So basically there's like a computer on the internet which keeps checking if your software is still activated, okay, if it is still within that lease time of the 1 year. So it keeps counting in the background. As soon as the 365 days end, then it will begin showing you a notification telling you your software is expired. Okay. Examples of some of the off-the-shelf software packages, we have Microsoft Office, some computer games you buy, then you can use them like for a year, and then sometimes they can expire. Some education software also expires. Some antivirus, most antivirus softwares, you use them like for 1 year and then you have to buy another one. Okay. Paula, you have a hand up.
So I'm sorry that my question is not very related, but I had a question. So I was wondering, I've been seeing this like all over the internet where people like they open up an online store and then after they take products from other online stores and put them on their store, but they charge you a higher like price. But then like these products you just get redirected to like the original store, but they're making this extra amount like because they charge you higher. I don't know how that works, but like I'm confused. How is it you're getting directed, but you're paying this person more than you would be paying for like the actual product and it's on like another like website?
So the most, I think that for me, I think how I look at it is it's basically a business model. So what usually happens is these companies buy in bulk. Okay, they buy like several copies. For example, the Amazon stores. Okay, so it's very easy for you to order for a product from Amazon. Okay, but because so many times there are several other people buying the same software. For example, if you wanted to order for an iPad, there is probably 100,000 other people who have ordered for that same iPad within the same week. So it's much easier for Amazon to request Apple to deliver those iPads to them. because there are so many. Okay, it's much harder for you to order for one iPad from Apple or Dell, one computer from Dell, because it will be an inconvenience for them to just basically prepare one computer and send it to Africa. So it's much easier for you to order for your items from Amazon because several other people are doing the same. Those people request for those things from Apple or Dell. They get them in their warehouses and then they're able to prepare them for shipment across the different places in the world. And so basically, so they'll buy it at a specific price. Yes.
Maybe just to further clarify, whenever you make an order in bulk, whenever you're placing an order in bulk, it becomes cheaper. Just like when you go to buy a kilo of sugar, you'll find that a kilo of sugar may go for 3,000 shillings. But when you go to buy a full sack or a 25 kilogram, it will be around 60,000. And when you subdivide in 2 kilograms, you realize that you bought at a cheaper price. So whenever you order for something in bulk, it will always be cheaper. That's why probably I can also compare to, if I went to buy 1 GB flash disk, it may cost 20,000. But when I'm buying a 1 terabyte hard disk, it may go for 150,000. When you divide into per GB, unit cost per GB, you realize that somebody who has bought a 1 terabyte hard disk has actually bought it cheaper than buying a 1 GB flash disk. I submit.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Nika. And I think as we conclude now, okay, I think that's generally just general how to look at it. It's a business model really. There's nothing special about them. So we encourage you to read some of these other things. I am going to upload the other notes right now. Okay, the ones for the practicals. I just forgot to upload them. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. So we encourage you to look at these other notes, maybe over the weekend or when you have some time. Just try to skim through, though you may not really want to maybe read in depth, but just have an understanding of what we'll be looking at in the subsequent classes. Okay. Unless there are other questions, Mr. Nika?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Yes. My question is far from what we are learning today. I was just asking. I had 2 questions. The first one is that aren't viruses man-made, or they just come about like?
Viruses are designed by computer programmers. There are people just out there who just want to try out bad things and see how they work. It's just normal human nature.